All right, we're back for the starting lineups.
Number 4, Jaden Smith. Number 22, Cannon Miller. Number 24, Ronald Burns. And number 25, Adam Stanton. The Cougars are coached by Stephen Harris and assisted by Miller Long.
Cougar starting lineup tonight. The 4 seniors, Ben Schumacher, Jaden Smith, Cannon Miller, and Adam Stanton, and Broderick Burns, the junior.
A 5K junior, number 1, Jalen Maxson. A 6'3" junior, number 10, Aiden Snuggy. A 5K junior, number 11, Aiden Brown. A 6'1" senior, number 43, Owen Reese. And a 6'3" senior, number 25, Paul Nunez. The Cardinals are coached by Brandon Reese, assisted by Derek Hill and Garrett Stewart.
All right, cool pregame introductions for the Cardinals. Number 23, the senior point guard, Owen Weiss, the coach's son, had a big night on Friday to open the season, scoring at least 20 points. Nunez, the number 25, doing the tip, is also a senior. Opening tip, fight for the ball, and the Cardinals get the first possession. Weiss picks up his dribble into the corner. That's number 1, Madsen. Schnacke on the right wing. Gets it back up top to Madsen. Madsen just at the midcourt line. Ball across to Madsen. Schumacher almost got the steal. He circles up to Weiss. Weiss step back three-pointer from the wing, and he hits it. And the Cardinals take the 3-0 lead. Stanton into the corner for Miller, too far ahead, and turned back to the Cardinals.
Looks like Weiss may have gotten away with a shove off on Schumacher there to open it up for wide.
Ball down low, travel called on Nunez. Burns with the ball. Cardinals in a half-court trap. Miller across to Stanton, into Burns, down low for Smith, into the corner for Schumacher for 3. Off the front of the rim, Burns gets the offensive rebound, actually comes loose to Schumacher. Falls to Burns finally on the left wing. Into Stanton at the elbow, over to Smith from 15. Long rebound, Schumacher gets a hand on it and deflects it off of Schnacke. Will stay Cougars ball underneath.
Nice hustle by Schumacher to get in there and throw it off of the defender.
Miller into Burns. Burns trying to split the double. Madsen deflects. In the transition, Madsen picks it up, gets it to Weiss. He thought about the long 3. Swung over to number 11, Brown, and he hits it, and the Cardinals take the 6-0 lead. Schumacher into the short corner, back to Burns. Into Stanton at the elbow. Stanton in the paint, gets fouled. And it'll be underneath, inbound for the Cougars. Miller inbounding into the corner for Stanton. He wants the 3 off the front of the rim. Schumacher gets the rebound. Looking for an angle to get it out. Gets it out to Burns. Burns wants the 3. It's short. And out of bounds back to the Cougars.
Thought it looked like they might have tipped that.
Okay, it is called a tip. Ref discussed, and it will be Cougars ball.
I thought they tipped that.
Into the corner for Smith. Three-pointer is long, and Schnacke's there for the rebound. Over to Weiss for 3, and he hits it. And the Cougars want a timeout. Both teams have fired up several three-pointers. The Cougars have had An attempt from 4 different players. Nobody has yet to hit. You see a little bit of the first game jitters coming out tonight. They are playing fast. The Cougars are playing fast and physical, but haven't yet hit a shot.
Need to relax and get into their game a little bit.
Stanton in the middle, foul call on Schnocke. Second foul on the Cardinals here in the opening quarter. Miller inbounding into the backcourt to Schumacher. Over to Miller. Schumacher cuts through. Stanton backdoor for Burns. Burns, nice pound, dribble, and finish. And the Cougars had their first points of the season on their reverse layup from Burns. Over to Schnocke. Pulls it up from 15. Schumacher deflects and steals. Floater to Miller. Oh. Jaden Smith there for the offensive rebound. Schumacher comes away with it, kicks it to Burns. Burns from 15, back rim, or backside rebound by Miller, and he puts it back for 2 more. Weiss across to Madsen. Madsen into the corner for Schnock. He's able to save it, gets it over to number 11. That's Brown. Stolen away by Burns up to Stanton. Finds Schumacher on the wing and wants the 3. Got it.
Way to settle down and start playing some ball.
Off the timeout, trap comes in the corner on Schnocke. And
there's offensive
foul called on, was that on Weiss or was that off the ball?
I was on Weiss, it should be.
25, that was called on Nunez for a moving screen.
Moving screen.
That's the 3rd foul on the Cardinals. So after that timeout called by Coach Harrell, the Cougars have scored 7 straight. Burns to Stanton. Stanton wants the 3. Too strong. Rebound by Nunez. Weiss across into Madsen. Nunez down low. Stanton gets the block and comes away with the ball. Gets an outlet to Burns. Burns gets it over to Stanton. Stanton across the timeline to Smith. Tough pass into the short corner for Miller. Miller able to come away with it. Fighting for the angle. Puts it up with his left. Rebound pulled down by Madsen. Madsen back over to number 11. That's Brown. Weiss into the corner for Madsen for 3. Long rebound goes to Stanton, quick outlet to Burns. Burns looking up for Miller. Miller back to Burns, and with the left, puts it in.
Nice
it's tied
play.
at 9.
Nice give and go. Way to push the ball up. That's when Cougars are best. We've been doing some transition here.
Weiss splits the double, floater in the paint. Stanton with the rebound, outlet to Burns, looking ahead to Schumacher. Schumacher thinking about the 3, drives baseline, and draws the foul on Schnocke. Fourth foul of the quarter on the Cardinals. Though Cougars will be in the bonus the rest of the way.
Started out 9-0 with 3 threes by Miller, and now Cougars have come back, scoring straight 9.
Cannon Miller into Schumacher. Kicks it to the corner for Stanton. Stanton across to Burns. Burns on the left wing up top to Smith. Over to Schumacher. Brown defending. Weiss comes on the double. Schumacher bounce pass backdoor. Burns to Stanton. Stanton gets his own rebound, puts it back and in. And the Cardinals want a timeout after the Cougars have retaken the lead. 11-9. Like we said on the timeout, the Cougars were playing real aggressive. They were just you could tell they just had some early first game jitters, but they were playing hard, playing fast. Coach Harrell calmed them down. They started making some of their baskets.
Got subs here.
All right, Max Long Cam Marins and Nolan Stanton in the game for the Cougars. Miller, Schumacher, and Smith take a seat. Weiss over to Schnocky, all the way across to Brown. Brown into the corner for Madsen. Back up top to Brown. Marins defending over to Schnocky. Brown on the left wing. Kicks it back to Schnocky, wants the long three. Good closeout by Stanton. Flipped into Nunez. Marins comes to pressure. Brown at the elbow, back to Madsen. Madsen dribbling across. Schnocky at the top, over to Brown. Back to Madsen at the top. Marins defending. Stanton comes in. Schnocky for three. Off the side of the rim. Max Long with a tough rebound into a quick outlet to Stanton. Nolan Stanton pulls it up, gets it back to his brother Adam. Broderick Burns on the left wing, resets in the middle. Stanton flashes to the elbow, turns. Spin move,
Tough
baby
shot.
hook shot off the back of the rim, and Schnocky pulls down the rebound for the Cardinals. Madsen back to Brown. Schnocky's open for three. And after those initial three three-pointers by the Cardinals have gone cold. Another defensive rebound for the Cougars. Marins gets bumped off and gets called for the travel. That's a pretty rough travel call as the Cardinal came down on his shoulder. Weiss inbounds to Schnocky. Over to Madsen at the top. Nolan Stanton comes up to defend. Brown at the left wing. Into Nunez. Into the corner for Madsen. Madsen dribbling back to the elbow. Back up top to Schnocky. Ball to Weiss. Nolan Stanton tightly defending. Weiss, the left-handed shooter. Schnocky all the way across for Madsen. Madsen able to receive it. Pass inside to Weiss, can't handle it. Gets it back to Schnocky in the corner for three. Long rebound fought for by Nunez. Nunez down low for Madsen. Stanton from behind gets called for the foul.
Had two on the backside, boxed out one, didn't get the other one. They ended up with an offensive rebound. They've gotten, I think, 3 on that possession. And it turns out to be a foul then to send them to the line.
Madsen makes the first. Jalen Madsen, the 5'10 junior. Makes both free throws to tie it at 11. Cam Marins inbounding for the Cougars. Into Stanton. Stanton draws the foul, and the Cougars are in the bonus. Stanton rattles home the first.
Free throws are going to be huge.
Makes both free throws, 13-11. 1:12 left in the first quarter. Cougars leading by 2. Schnocky over to Weiss. Into Nunez at the elbow. Into the corner for Madsen. Madsen dribbles back across the top. Over to, now I've lost whether it's Weiss or Weiss. Is it Weiss?
Weiss.
Brown back up to Weiss. Nolan Stanton tightly defending. Madsen over to Weiss. Into the corner for Schnocky. Long three-pointer, and he nails it. Cardinals retake the lead, 14-13. Stanton to Nolan Stanton for three. Off the back of the rim, fight for the rebound. Weiss pulls it away. Under 10 to play. Cam Marins tightly defending. Trapped in the corner. And foul called on Marins.
Gonna get called for the hand check.
Second foul of the quarter, 6.3 on the official clock. Up top to Madsen. Kick to the corner for Nunez for three. It airballs. Stanton quickly outlet to Burns, and not in time. That'll do it for the first quarter.
We knew it'd be a dogfight. It always is, especially when we play over here. And so they're fired up and shooting well. We started off a little cold shooting, had some good shots. But finally started working it around and getting shots in close to the basket. Schumacher hit that three. But other than that, we've gone over from three-point land. We've probably shot just as many as they have, I'd say.
All right, to start the second quarter, Adam Stanton and Broderick Burns get a break as Hunter Marsh and Connor Perry check in. The three seniors that subbed out are back in, Schumacher, Miller, and Smith. Connor Perry with the three, and he nails it.
It's a good start.
Weiss, dangerous pass all the way in, almost took out a cheerleader. And a turnover back to the Cougars.
Referee getting a little hurry, getting him the ball.
Miller to Smith, over to Schumacher. Schumacher all the way across for Miller. Miller for three, it's high in the air. Backside rebound by Perry. Perry looking for an option, gets it back out to Schumacher for three. And he got it.
Nice shot again by Ben. Good find by Perry. Good hustle on getting the rebound and then kicking it out.
Weiss up to Madsen. Madsen inside to number 45, Clayton. Brown with the dribble. Weiss thought about the three. Perry closes out.
45's never left the lane there for about 10 seconds.
Nunez into the paint. Pass to the corner to Madsen. Madsen all the way across. Oh, can't get it to fall, and Hunter Marsh pulls down the rebound for the Cougars. Smith with a bounce pass ahead to Miller. Into the corner for Schumacher. Schumacher back up top to Miller. Ball deflected by Weiss. Behind the back pass to Madsen, and Madsen puts it in. Cardinals cut the lead to three. Schumacher flips it over to Miller. Smith flashes to the elbow. Miller gets it over to Schumacher on the left wing. Schumacher creating some space. Looking for an option back over to Miller on the left side. Into the short corner for Perry. In and out. Perry offensive rebound. Looked like he got fouled. Fight for the ball. Weiss gets it into transition. Weiss all the way to the basket, and he puts it in. Miller into Schumacher, double team comes. They get it to Smith across the timeline. Smith from the free throw line off the glass. And Smith puts it in.
I heard him yell, bank it.
That's the old Larry Bird shot. Madsen slowing it down on the left side. Over to Brown. Into Clayton. Clayton turns and shoots. And he answers with a bank of his own. Miller over to Schumacher across the timeline. Schumacher pulls up for three, and he got it.
Ben's gotten warmed up. Last three shots for three are good.
Weiss to Brown to Nunez, back to Brown on the left wing. Up top to Madsen. Over to Clayton. Clayton flips it to Weiss. Bounce pass into Nunez. Into Brown in the corner for three. Long rebound, Schumacher's there to pull it down. Schumacher pushing through the middle. Wants it all the way to the basket, and Schumacher draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot two.
Nice aggressive attack in the basket.
First foul of the quarter on either team.
Ooh.
In and out on the first. Stanton, Burns, and Dennis in the game for the Cougars. Miller, Smith, and Hunter Marsh subbing out. Schumacher short on the second. Schnocki to Madsen, floater up to Weiss. Weiss all the way in, Dennis there defending, able to pull it down, gets it to Stanton. Stanton with a nice crossover dribble up ahead to Burns. Burns behind the back, loses the handle, and commits the foul as number 3, Blake Bradley, was on the floor to win the ball. Weiss across the timeline, crossover dribble into the paint. All the way to the basket, floater and in, and it's a 2-point game. Perry quickly up to Burns. Burns back to Perry in the backcourt. Finds Stanton in the middle, over to Burns. Burns holds it up. Into Stanton at the elbow. Stanton spins in the paint, looking for an option. Baby hook, and he puts it in. Tough shot.
Got that one to go. Same shot he took earlier, but was just a little strong with it. That one he gets to go in.
Weiss dribble handoff to Madsen. Over to Bradley. Bradley picks up his dribble. Schumacher tightly defending. Gets it back to Schnocki at the top. Into Nunez at the elbow. Down low for Madsen. Burns gets caught in the air and commits the foul. No shot, I believe is what they called.
Yeah, no shot.
Second foul of the quarter on the Cougars and the second on Broderick Burns. Weiss all the way up top to Madsen. Madsen puts the dribble down into the corner for Nunez. Nunez from 12 feet rises up off the backboard, and Burns pulls down the rebound. Burns up to Stanton. Stanton kicks it to Schumacher. Schumacher to the elbow, and he nails it. Six-point lead now for the Cougars. Schumacher steals as Burns deflects. Schumacher with his left puts it in.
Nice job, pressure.
Cougars lead by 8. Blake Bradley back over to Madsen, over to Schnocki, into Nunez at the elbow. Madsen back to Schnocki. May got away with a step. Off the front of the rim, Burns comes in for the rebound. Good box out by Dennis. Pushing in transition, Stanton all the way through. Floater gets the roll.
Got the roll and go.
And the Cougars lead by 10. 2:25 to play here in the second quarter. Weiss dribble handoff to Bradley. Over to Schnocki, into Nunez at the elbow. Burns reaches and goes for the steal. Burns out in transition with his left, gets the foul. And Burns will go to the line for 2 free throws. Good read by Burns as that pass was telegraphed up top. Burns just reads it, gets his hand in there, and takes it away.
Just a little too strong on the finish.
Burns good on the first.
Schumacher is getting a breather with Smith coming in for him.
Schumacher, I believe, Schumacher has 13 points on the night.
3 of them threes.
Burns makes both free throws. 12-point lead for the Cougars. Brown gets doubled, gets it to Schnocky, wide open for 3, and he nails it. Perry into Stanton, or back to Stanton, I should say. Stanton across the timeline to Smith. Gets it to Perry into the short corner for Dennis. Dennis looks back for Perry at the elbow, gets the dribble down, finds himself open. Dennis gets the offensive rebound off the front of the rim, and Schnocky pulls it down for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Dennis just a little hesitant with that shot.
Weiss for 3, too strong. Nunez comes in, gets the rebound, gets it to Madsen before the travel. Over to Brown from the top for 3, and Brown nails it. Stanton pushing through the middle, gets it up to Smith. Foul called on the Cardinals as Smith went for the pass over the top. I believe that was on Brown. Let's see who they give it to. Yeah, called on number 11. That's Hayden Brown.
Yeah, went from a 12-point lead down to 6 with those 2 threes in a row by Miller.
Caleb Dennis subbing out as Max Long is in the game. Stanton with the creative Stanton inbounded off the Miller player's back and drew the foul. He'll go to the line. Let's see if we can look at that on replay. Stanton there for the inbound. He sees that Brown has his back to the play. Gets it right off his back.
Just didn't finish. It's a good play. Good heads up.
That's the 4th foul on the Cardinals here in the quarter. So 1 minute and 9 seconds left. The Cougars will be in the bonus the rest of the way out. Stanton short on the first. Number 45, Baylor Clayton, the freshman, back in the game for the Cardinals. Brown subbing out with 3 fouls. Cannon Miller also subbed in the game. Did you check in for Connor Perry?
Connor Perry.
Stanton too strong on the second. Just a reverse of Schumacher. Schumacher went strong on the first, short on the second. Clayton gets the dribble down, gets trapped, gets it to Schnocky. To Nunez at the elbow. Weiss wants the 3 off the front of the rim. Burns, nice box out, gets the rebound. Out ahead to Smith, passes it behind him. Smith's able to get it. Over to Stanton. And blocking foul called on Madsen. Stanton will go back to the line.
That is the correct call. That is the thing that they're supposed to emphasize if they disrupt their ability to drive, which is exactly what he did.
Two-shot bonus for the Cougars. Stanton too strong on the first.
Free throws, you don't want these to come back and haunt us.
Can't get the roll on the second. Weiss slowing it down. 45 seconds remaining in the first half. Cougars leading by 6. Weiss with the floater and draws the foul and gets it to go. He'll go to the line for the and 1. Take a look at this on replay. Four-point game. And Weiss makes the free throw, 3-point game. Burns across the timeline, keeps his dribble, picks it up, gets it to Stanton. Stanton at the 15 feet, nice step through. Adam Stanton, creative way to finish. Sorry, I wanted to replay by mistake there. There's a foul called on the drive on Weiss.
Yeah,
That's the 4th foul on the Cougars. 11.1 on the official clock.
Jade needs to force him to go left. Burns earlier was guarding him and making him go right because he's left-handed, so he wants to go this way. Just need to turn him and go the other, make him go right, and he doesn't like it as well.
Travel called on Bradley. Burns into Stanton. Stanton all the way to the basket, off the
There it
glass,
is.
rolls it in. The Cougars extend the lead back to 7, and at the buzzer, the long shot comes up short. (38-31) halftime score. Ten minutes on the halftime clock. We'll take an audio break here and be back for the start of the second half. All right, we're back, ready to start the third quarter. (38-31). Starting five on the floor for the Cougars. Nunez into the corner for Madsen. Madsen across the frame and gets called for the travel.
Yeah, we jumped, blocked the pass and tried to hold on to it to split it and drug that back foot again.
Burns up to Miller to cross the timeline. Inside to Stanton across for Schumacher in the corner. Schumacher to Miller in the paint. Miller spins. Too strong. Brown pulls down the rebound. Stanton goes for the Wolf. Into the corner for Madsen. Madsen puts down the hard step. Back to Brown. Brown wanted it. Miller closes out. At the elbow, back up top to Weiss. Weiss across to Madsen. Madsen driving in. And Stanton slaps down on the ball. Someone's getting called for the foul. It's Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. So that's his third.
Weiss inbound into the corners for Nunez. Smith tightly defending. Nunez gets to the basket. Can't get the roll. Stanton pulls down the rebound. Nunez gets away with the foul.
Yeah, I was going to say uncalled foul there.
Burns. Miller is losing where he was on the court and steps on the end line. Cardinals up to Madsen in the corner. Trap comes. Madsen finds Nunez at the elbow. Brown quickly over to Weiss on the left wing. Miller up to defend. Cannon Miller tightly defending. Count going. Weiss looking for an option. Madsen cuts. Stanton gets a hand on it. Madsen able to get it back. Schnacke back up to Weiss. Miller defending all the way up at the volleyball line. Burns hedges a screen. Weiss resets. Kicked over to Brown. Back to Weiss. Miller again tightly defending over to Schnacke on the left side. All the way across for Madsen. Madsen into the corner for Brown. Brown puts down the dribble. Across for Nunez. Nunez able to recover after the fumble. Gets it back to Schnacke. Burns defending. Schnacke at the elbow looking for an option to reset back up to Weiss. Miller comes all the way out to defend. Nunez wants the long three. Burns there for the rebound. Cougars pushing. Burns slows it up, gets it back to Stanton. Stanton back to Burns. Stanton at the right wing into the corner for Miller for three. Ball deflected to Nunez. Stanton goes for the steal. Able to win the ball. Reset back up to Roderick Burns at the top. Burns over to Smith on the right wing. Gets it to Schumacher at the top.
Dangerous pass there.
Schumacher puts the dribble down, bounce to Smith on the right wing. Back to Schumacher into the short corner for Stanton. Burns cuts through. Stanton all the way across for Miller for the long two. Stanton there for the rebound, gets it back and puts it in. Good physical play by Stanton to get through that contact.
Yeah, Schnacke got the smack at it the first time, but Stanton got his own rebound.
Weiss all the way into Madsen in the left corner. Madsen resets all the way to the top. Driving into the lane. Stanton, nice defense.
Yeah.
Able to get the rebound. He's pushing in transition, looking for Schumacher up ahead. Schumacher has to reset. Across to Miller. Miller wants the long three, decides to put the dribble down. Poked away from behind by Weiss. And a throw in for the Cougars. Brandon Schumacher, Nolan Stanton, and Connor Perry checking in the game.
Brandon Schumacher's first action.
Okay, Miller, Smith, and Ben Schumacher checking out. Nolan Stanton into Adam Stanton. Adam Stanton turns and shoots, and Nolan Stanton gets his first assist to his brother.
Taking it back to an 11-point lead now after the 7-point halftime lead.
Weiss puts the dribble down. All the way to the basket. Stanton got a hand on it and gets called for the foul. That's a rough call on Stanton. He gets called for the push. Sure didn't look like that. Let's take a look at that on replay.
Got bailed out, taking a bad shot, looked like.
Did have a left hand on the hip, but looked pretty clean up top. Weiss good on the first. Weiss now has 16 points on the night. Actually, maybe that's 17. They have, yeah, it looks like 16 on the night. Makes the second to make it 17. 9-point lead now for the Cougars. Stanton into Schumacher. Schumacher back to Stanton in the backcourt. Back to Brandon Schumacher. Across the timeline to Stanton. Stanton puts the spin move on. Tough shot off the back of the rim. And foul called on Burns as he came in. Second foul of the quarter on the Cougars. I'm sorry, it's the third foul. Weiss over to Brown. In the corner for Schnacke. Backed up to Brown. Tough pass over to Madsen. He's able to handle it. Madsen picks up his dribble inside to the elbow for Nunez. Nunez, tough pass deflected by Stanton. Perry there to recover to Stanton, out to Burns. Burns down low for Nolan Stanton. One more to Brandon Schumacher. Schumacher too strong off the glass. Rebound by the Cardinals. Weiss pushing. Has to reset. Looking for baseline. Burns cuts it off. Weiss with a long three, and he nails it. And it's back to a 6-point game. Stanton on the dribble, picks it up. All the way across for Brandon Schumacher. Nunez goes for the steal and gets it. Weiss in the corner, tries to draw the foul and gets called for the travel. I think that's the right call as he really leaned in there. Burns was in position. Ben Schumacher coming to the table to check in. Roderick Burns getting a break.
Those 3 fouls, they're going after him.
Stanton into Ben Schumacher, quickly to Adam Stanton. Back to Ben, up ahead to Perry. Perry in the corner, good jab step, looks down low for Adam Stanton, looking for an angle off the glass. Brandon Schumacher in there, gets a hand on it, and rebound falls to Nunez. Quickly out to Madsen. Madsen looking to go baseline. Back to the middle, kicks it back to Schnacke for 3. Too strong, Nolan Stanton, good box out, gets the rebound. Stanton looking to go coast to coast, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Massive subs coming in here now. We'll have Max Long, Smith, Cannon Miller, and Cam.
Nolan Stanton good on the first. 7-point lead now for the Cougars, 2:46 to play here in the third quarter. Cam Marin still at the line. He'll sub in for Nolan Stanton. Too strong on the second. Madsen gets the rebound. Weiss slows it down. Ben Schumacher comes up to defend, over to Brown into the corner for Madsen. Nunez at the elbow, finds a seam too strong off the backboard. Long quickly out to Miller. Miller with the left hand into the corner for Smith. Smith puts the dribble down as Madsen reaches in. Smith crossover back to Miller. Miller gets doubled, looking for an option, trying to step through, and jump ball called. That's a rough jump.
It's a
Cougars have the arrow.
Very quick jump ball. As far as I knew, you still had to be touching the ball, not just have somebody trapped.
Miller gets it in the backcourt for Schumacher. Over to Smith on the left wing. Over to Marins. Marins to Smith. Smith looks into the short corner for Miller. Miller resets back to Smith. Across for Schumacher. Smith into the short corner for Long. Back to Smith. Tough shot. Cam Marins flies in for the rebound. And jump ball called back to the Cardinals.
I didn't see what their crowd was hollering about.
I didn't either. Weiss across the timeline, gets it to Nunez. Miller defending. Nunez into the corner for Madsen. Madsen dribbling all the way around. Back to Schnocky at the top. Into number 34, Langston at the elbow. Back to Nunez. Over to Schnocky. Inside for Madsen. Madsen puts the dribble down, draws the foul, and makes the bucket. And Madsen will go to the line for the and one.
Come out a little bit different foul calling here in the second half.
That was called on Max. Free throw is good, and it's back to a 4-point game for the Cougars. Weiss getting a break, 1:26 to play in the third quarter. Marins into Miller, over to Smith. Back to Marins. And Marins gets called for the travel. Madsen over to Nunez. Inside to Langston, Schnocky back to Nunez. Over to Madsen. Madsen splits the double. Back up top to Nunez. Schumacher goes to the ground. Nunez for the three. Marins fights for the rebound. And foul called on Cam Marins. That's the 5th foul. So the Cardinals will go to the line to shoot two. Number 3, Blake Bradley at the line. Off to the right on the first. Bradley too strong in the second. Max Long, nice rebound. Outlet to Marins, deflected away, but Marins gets it up to Smith. Smith step through. Nice finish off the glass.
Good transition bucket off the missed free throws.
Nunez over to Schnocky. Inside to Langston, back to Schnocky. Thought about the three, back to Nunez. To Langston at the elbow, back up top to Schnocky. Cardinals want to take the last shot, anything under a minute. Into the corner, Clayton hits the three, and it's back to a 3-point game. 23 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Cannon Miller over to Marins. Schumacher to Smith, deflected away on the pass inside. Cannon Miller able to get it back. Cam Marins, Miller floater. It's too strong, 5 seconds remaining. Ball thrown away, 2.1 on the clock. Cougars will get one last chance, leading by 3, 45-42. Marins into Smith, into the corner for Schumacher for three, and it's short. That will do it for the third quarter.
Nice play. Makes you clinch up just a little bit when you're running down on time. Shot it just a little short.
Both Stanton and Adam Stanton and Owen Weiss subbed out the last couple minutes of that third quarter. They'll probably both go the rest of the way.
Yeah, we had 38 points at half, and then we only ended up 45 points after the third quarter. Be Cougar ball after the 2 jump balls we had in the last quarter.
Burns to Smith as we start the fourth quarter. Stanton back in the game at the top of the key. Back to Burns at the elbow. Burns in traffic, tries to find Stanton. able to get it back. Gets Schumacher over to Connor Perry for three. Too strong, standing there for the offensive rebound. Good pound dribble and finish.
Nice touch finish there. As he went hard against the big boy.
Schnacke across the timeline over to Nunez. Weiss still on the bench. Langston back to Nunez. Into the corner for Bradley. Nunez drives to the elbow, kicks it to Schnacke for the three. Off the front of the rim, Connor Perry flies in for the rebound, and foul called on Baylor Clayton, the freshman.
They're giving it to White. That's a terrible call. That's a terrible
Who's that called
call.
on?
Called it on Connor Perry.
Oh, called on Broderick.
Broderick wasn't even around there. That's a terrible, terrible call.
I didn't grab that replay. Take a look at this last basket by Stanton. They're in position on the weak side for the rebound. It comes right to him as he pound dribbles and finds space. Yeah, big call on Broderick. That's his fourth foul. It had to have been off the ball because Connor Perry flew in to get the rebound. Ball into Schnacke, Matson, and then Nunez on the right side. Adam Stanton defending. Oh, and Cannon Miller did sub in for Burns on that timeout. Connor Perry gets a little too aggressive and gets called for the foul. Ball into Schnacke over to Matson. To Nunez, back to Schnacke for the long three. Misses everything, but Nunez is there for the follow. And it's back to a three-point game. Perry into Stanton. Adam Stanton gets the dribble down, swiped away by Weiss. Smith gets it to Schumacher. Schumacher dribbles back to the top, blocking foul called on Weiss.
He tried to pull off some acting.
Yeah, I think he got a little, I think Schumacher got hit in the lower extremities. He's going to sub out. First foul of the quarter on the Cardinals. All right, back to the action. Miller into Nolan Stanton. Back to Cannon Miller on the left wing. Gets it to Smith. Perry one more to Nolan Stanton. Stanton looks inside. Into the corner for Cannon Miller. Back to Stanton on the cut. And foul called on the shot. Nolan Stanton will go to line for two shots.
Looks like Ben's trying to walk it off. Looks like he headed to the locker room. Coming back down the hallway there.
Nolan Stanton good on another free throw. 4-point lead now for the Cougars. Baylor Clayton subbing out as number 11 Hayden Brown checks back in the game.
One for
Brown
two again.
gets the rebound. Weiss across to Brown.
There we
Stanton
go.
reads it, gets the steal. Adam Stanton to the basket
Should
with
have
his
been a
left.
foul.
Jaden Smith, offensive rebound off the glass, too strong. Nolan Stanton comes in, fight for the ball in the corner, and timeout called by the Cougars. Coach Harrell got the timeout called when Stanton went to the ground.
Weiss got away with a foul there, taking a big swing as Stanton went up. That's pretty much been an automatic foul all night, but
it's been a physical matchup. Cougars haven't had much chemistry here in the second half after having a real nice run in the first half. Coach has really been deliberate about getting those substitutions in. First game of the season, don't really have their sea legs yet.
Burns had to set out about half of the third quarter with the third foul, and then he picked up his fourth foul a minute into the fourth quarter.
Ben Schumacher checked back into the game. Jaden Smith has 3 fouls. Schumacher with 13 points on the night, all in the first half. Cannon Miller inbounds into Smith. Over to Ben Schumacher, back to Smith at the top. Stanton flashes to the elbow. Stanton turns to face, looking for Perry. Perry wants a 3, kicks it to the short corner for Smith. Bounce pass to Stanton, deflected away by the Cardinals.
Double dribble.
And double dribble called on number 3, Blake Bradley. I couldn't tell what happened there. Did he get it off his hip?
Yeah, they're saying he was dribbled it into himself and held it up and dribbled again.
Cougars with a possession. Stanton comes to the right wing, into the corner for Perry. Double screen at the elbow. Back to Stanton at the right wing. Up top to Schumacher. Over to Miller. Miller thought about it, gets it back to Perry. Smith at the top. One more to Stanton. Stanton for 3, and he got it.
Big three-pointer there. Takes it back up to a 7-point lead.
Brown pushing the pace, trap comes. Schumacher and Smith, gets it to Nunez. Nunez all the way to the basket with the left, and he puts it in. Cannon Miller fumbles the ball and loses it out of play. Back to the Cardinals' 5-point lead for the Cougars. Each team with 2 fouls here in the fourth quarter. Nunez at the top, over to Brown. Brown thought about the 3, kicks it back to Schnacke. Back up top to Brown. Into the elbow for Nunez. Nunez dribbles down. Madsen in the corner for 3 is short. Adam Stanton there for the defensive rebound. Stanton gets it out to Smith. Smith looks up for Miller. Miller too strong. Schumacher deflects to Smith, and Jaden Smith puts it in.
It's good hustle by the whole team getting back there, so that way they could have a 3-on-1 advantage.
Ball inside to Madsen. Stanton looked to get a block, but gets called for the foul.
Yeah, it looked like he gave him a high 5 on that one. Adam's still in good shape. He's only got 2 fouls.
Take a look at that on replay as Madsen snuck through.
Miller's been doing a good job hitting their free throws with their starters.
53-47, 4:09 to play. Oh man, I just noticed I didn't change the scoreboard. Fourth quarter. 53-48. Stanton gets it to Smith. Smith into the corner. Bounce pass, gets it through to Stanton. Stanton all the way across for Schumacher. Bradley comes.
Man.
I guess they're wanting to commit a foul.
I would say.
Third foul of the quarter on the Cardinals, each team with 3.
That shows how much you have to foul, though, in order to get them to call something.
Yeah.
You have to give them the old mugging.
Burns back in the game for Miller. Over to Schumacher. Schumacher puts the dribble down. Gets it to Smith at the top. One more to Burns. Over to Smith. Inside to Stanton. Tough
dangerous
pass. Stolen away by Madsen. in the transition out to Bradley, and Bradley puts it in. 3-point game. Schumacher across the timeline into the corner for Perry. Perry for three. Stanton backside rebound. Adam Stanton looking for an angle.
Got it.
Baby hook and in. Back to a 5-point lead for the Cougars. Schnacke to Nunez. Thought about the three. Gets it back to Schnacke at the top. One more to Brown. Schnacke long three. Rims out. Knocked off of Stanton. Will stay Cardinals ball.
Yeah, we put a few of those passes. We were throwing right at our guys' feet. We did that earlier to Ben, and then we did it out here to Adam, just throwing it right at their feet. That's not a good angle for them to try to catch that.
I don't know if number 23 Weiss has an injury. He's been playing a little bit more spotty here in the
That's
second half.
I didn't notice when he got that other foul how many fouls he had. Or whether they're just resting him, I don't know.
Brandon Schumacher checked in the game for Jaden Smith. Madsen looking to inbound, gets into Bradley, over to Nunez, to Schnacke at the top. Madsen flashes high to receive, dribbles across back to Schnacke. Over to Brown, Schnacke one more to Madsen. Inside to Nunez, Nunez dribbles down, strong off the glass, and Stanton there for the defensive rebound. Out to Burns, Burns slowing it down, under 3 to play. Across the timeline to Stanton. Stanton flips it to Burns. Over to Brandon Schumacher. Into the corner for Perry. Perry finds Stanton at the elbow, back to Brandon Schumacher, one more to Burns. Burns resets. Gets it into Stanton at the elbow. And again, Bradley, real aggressive, commits the foul.
There was the cut they were looking for, but got the foul instead. Burns was going back door. Stanton, one of their plays is they rotated in and hits Burns as he rolls to the basket.
Jaden Smith checking back in the game for the Cougars. Smith inbounding all the way to the back court to Burns. Gets it into the front court for Ben Schumacher. Over to Burns. Offensive foul called on Burns. That's unlucky, and that's his 5th foul. Take a look at this on replay. It was the Cardinals defender, Madsen, fell down. Looked like he lost his balance, and Burns was kind of leaning into him and fell into the shoulder. Kind of a tough call. Brown for 3. Good box out by Connor Perry. Gets the rebound. That's a foul. There's no way they're going to call that a jump ball. Look at Perry come down with the rebound.
Man, that
Nunez
is
with a hand between his legs gets
terrible.
the jump ball.
Terrible call.
That's a 2-point takedown in wrestling.
2 terrible calls in a row.
Brown bounce pass into Madsen, and Madsen puts it in. It's a 3-point game. Connor Perry to Stanton. Up to Brandon Schumacher. Over to Perry. To Ben. Across to Brandon. And Schnacke fouls him. That's the 5th foul. Brandon Schumacher will go to the line to shoot free throws.
They haven't called that light of a foul the whole night. But they want to put us at the line now so we can't stall.
Brandon Schumacher good on the first. Back to a 2-possession game. Connor Perry checking out as Max Long checks in the game.
Good clutch free throw by Brandon. Need to hit another one here if we can.
Schumacher gets the roll on the second. Lead back to 5. Weiss. Well defended by Max Long. And Brandon Schumacher able to hold the ball in the backcourt, picks up another foul, and he'll go back to the line.
Yeah, that was a offensive foul, except for Max just didn't fall.
Schumacher misses on the first. Short on the second. Brown pulls down the rebound. Madsen across for Schnacke for the long 3, and he got it. Timeout by the Cardinals, 128, 2-point game.
Yeah, Brandon was true on his first 2. Second 2 wasn't able to hit. Leaves it at a 2-point ball game now after the 3.
The timeout was called by the Cardinals. They have 1 timeout remaining.
Connor Perry getting quite a few minutes tonight. He was shooting well at the beginning, and he was flying in, getting those offensive rebounds, and getting some defensive rebounds, so he was rewarded with some quality time tonight.
All right, Cougars inbounding. They'll have the baseline to run after the timeout on the made basket. 1:28 to play here in the 4th quarter. Cougars leading by 2, 57-55. Adam Stanton inbounding. Stanton gets it into Ben Schumacher, and Nunez commits the foul. No time ran off the clock. Ben Schumacher to the line. Schumacher boys have worked on free throws in the driveway plenty. This is where it needs to pay off for them. Good on the first, back to a 3-point game.
Yeah, we have not shot well as a team tonight in free throws.
Cannon Miller checks out of the game as Jaden Smith checks back in. Schumacher gets the roll on the second, back to a 2-possession game. Brown gets it to Weiss. Back to Brown. Schnacke tries for the long 3. Adam Stanton with a big rebound for the Cougars. Nunez fouls him in the backcourt. And Adam Stanton will go to the line to shoot.
Going to prolong the game as long as possible here.
Stanton rims out on the first.
No shot bigger than the next one, Adam. That's what you got to keep thinking.
Gets the roll on the second. 5-point lead again for the Cougars. Into Weiss. Schumacher defending. Over to Schnocky in the corner. Double team on Weiss. Smith defending. Weiss baseline.
Oh.
Acrobatic shot gets bailed out with the foul call as Connor Perry came through. And Weiss will go to the line for 2 free throws.
They are definitely bailing out on one end.
And take a look at this flail shot by Weiss. Perry seemed to be straight up, but gets called for the foul. Weiss good on the first 4-point lead for the Cougars. 1:03 to play here in the fourth quarter. Number 34, Charlie Langston, the sophomore, 6'2" sophomore, back in the game for the Cougars, as for the Cardinals, I should say, as Brown subs out. Second free throw is missed. Smith gets the rebound, gets it to Perry. Back to Stanton, and traveling call on Stanton.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how much they're paying this bald guy.
Tough call here. Stanton does shuffle his feet as he catches. 4-point lead for the Cougars. Into Weiss. Brandon Schumacher and Ben Schumacher there. Nunez open. Gets it to Brown into the corner for Madsen. Brown wants the three. Short off rim. Ben Schumacher there for the rebound. Gets it to Stanton. And timeout called by the Cougars. Two timeouts remaining for the Cougars. One timeout for the Cardinals. 41.4 on the official clock.
Last couple of minutes have been creeping along here with all the fouls and the whistles.
All right, now down to our last minute clock, 41.4 on the scoreboard clock. Cougars inbounding at the 28-foot line in the backcourt. Nolan Stanton in the game for the Cougars. Ben Schumacher inbounding, gets it into the backcourt to Stanton. Foul quickly called. 40.1 on the clock. Adam Stanton back to the line for 2 more free throws. Stanton, after struggling early on free throws, nice opportunity for him to kind of feel it out here in a pressure situation early in the season.
Yeah, I believe he's getting his rhythm down now. He made his last one.
First one rims out. Mass sub by the Cardinals. Subbing offense for defense. Brown, Madsen, Schnacke in the game. Weiss all the way in the corner. Stanton makes the second, back to a 5-point lead. Cardinals roll it in. Madsen up to Brown across the timeline. Picks up his dribble, gets it to Nunez at the elbow. Weiss wants the long three, and he got it. 29.7 on the clock. The Cardinals take their last time out. There's no official, I don't see anywhere on the scoreboard where it shows timeouts.
No,
but according to my count, the Cougars have 2 remaining, and the Miller Cardinals called their last timeout. Cougars will have the baseline to inbound after the timeout.
They kept Weiss in the corner that time, and then brought him up and around all the screens, and he was going to take the shot. He just Can't give him an inch anywhere out there on the perimeter.
Cougars do have the arrow. Cougars inbounding. They have the baseline to run after the made shot. Cannon Miller inbounding. Into Stanton. Back to Cannon Miller. Over to Smith. Smith crosses the timeline. And oh my goodness.
Man.
Foul called on Bradley. Sometimes you just feel the momentum of the game by a ref.
Yeah.
And it feels like he's
trying to dictate it. He wants to control the outcome instead of letting the players play.
Smith strong on the first. 2-point game. And Schumacher coming in. Weiss, Schnacke, Brown, Nunez, and Matson in the game for the Cardinals. Smith good on the second. It's a 3-point game. Cardinals can tie with a 3. 20 seconds left. Brown across the timeline. Brown picks up his dribble, gets it to Nunez. Nunez loses the handle.
Dribble.
And double dribble called on Nunez. I don't know that that's the right call. He fumbled the dribble. He didn't dribble again,
but
though.
I believe if you've got the replay, it looked like he hit it with both hands, and that is a double dribble.
He dribbled it back to the ground, back to the floor.
Yeah, with 2 hands. When he lost it, he kind of hit it with both hands is what it looked like to me.
Cannon Miller inbounding, gets it into Stanton. Back to Miller. Weiss commits the foul, 9.9 on the clock. 3-point lead as the Cougars go back to the line.
Giving everybody a shot here, getting it to different people here to see who's going to hit the clutch ones. Jaden went 1 for 2, gave us back to a 3-point lead.
Miller with a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Rims out on the first. Connor Perry checking in the game. Brandon Schumacher at the table looks to be checking in for Cannon Miller if he makes the free throw. 9.9 on the clock.
This is a huge free throw right here. Got it.
Miller good on the second. 4-point lead now for the Cougars. 9.9 to play. The Cougars, the Cardinals don't have a timeout. So even a made basket, the Cougars can let the clock run. Schnacke in the corner for 3. Offensive rebound is loose. Brandon Schumacher there, and that's the end of the game. 63-59. The Cougars come away with the victory. Hard-fought battle by both sides. The Miller Cardinals went out to a 9-0 lead. Cougars responded, scoring the next 11 points to make it 11-9. From there, it was a back-and-forth game. The Cougars led by as many as 12.
12 was our biggest lead. We got back up by 11 after letting them back into it.
Cougars never trailed after half. It got to within 3 and maybe even 2 at one point.
Yeah, coming down the stretch is where it got the closest. They got back down to 2.
All right, exciting finish. Cardinals wouldn't go away, kept hitting those threes. Cougars struggling at the free throw line, made just enough to hold on to the victory. All right, that's all we have here. We'll be back tomorrow night for our home game. Rush Senior Homeschool out of Springfield, Nixa will be in town to take us on the last game before Thanksgiving break. We'll send you through the second half recap as we close out.